Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Angushthamatrah Purushaha
Angushthamatrah Purushaha
Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha
Sada Jananam Hridaye Samnivishtaha
Hridamanvisha
Hridamanisha
Manasabhikliptaha
Manasabhikliptaha
Ya etadviduhu
Ya etadviduhu
Amritaste bhavanti.
Amritaste bhavanti.
Few more things on this. Another Patha Bheda is there. Patha Bheda means a alternative reading. Because this Manisha, it doesn't make quite much of a sense. Manvisha. You add a little va, half of a va. Hrida Manvisha Manasa Abhikliptaha. This is what we were seeing. And I was talking about how the word Abhikliptaha has many, many meanings. First in the sense of constricting. Constricting, and constricting in the sense of the upadhi. Yeah, the body, mind, sense identified upadhi does not recognize that which is in the heart. We saw that last week. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, so therefore, that is one meaning in the sense of constricted. Another one meaning of abhikliptaha is in the sense of endowed. So, endowed with the body, mind, sense complex whose truth is Ishvara. You see? And in yet one more sense, we can use the word abhikliptaha, which means pervaded. Yeah. Hrida, in the form of that which is the locus, the place where Bhagavan indwells. And that's why this translation is important. Manvisha. Manasaha Ishaha Manvishaha. Hrida Manvisha. And then Manasa Abhikliptaha. It is pervaded by that Lord. The whole body, mind, sense complex is pervaded by the Lord. The Lord of the heart. What heart? Not the pumping heart. The non-pumping heart. The metaphorical heart. So, the Lord of the metaphorical heart, Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha Ya Etad Viduhu. And we spent a long time on this. Viduhu means the one who knows this. Amritaha te bhavanti. They gain moksha. And again here the connection between gaining moksha and knowledge. Because moksha is not produced. It is not a product of karma. Because it is not, only that is accomplished by karma, which is away from you. Moksha is never away. Oh, you mean I'm free? Yes, you are free. I'm free to walk out of the class? Definitely. Definitely. Oh, I'm free. I'm really free. I'm not a samsari. No. Then why all these days, years, months, you are treating me like a samsari? I was not treating you like a samsari. You were convinced you were a samsari. Now you are ready to drop that notion. Yeah. This is what the fun part is. So, ye viduhu amrita bhavanti. Bhavanti is again, it's not become. Are. They are. So, it's the gain of the knowledge, or rather, the removal of the ignorance, which is bringing about this clarity. Then somebody can say, big deal. If I know this thing, it will be fine. Why should I want moksha? Because people ask this also. Moksha, moksha, moksha. You Vedantins are obsessed. Look at the thousands and billions of people. Do they have moksha? No, they are fine. Why you want, why you are so fixated? You have OCD on moksha. You're OCDing on moksha all the time. Moksha, 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 moksha. What is this? You know, this is way out of proportion. And also, there is one Atma. Okay. And then it is in the heart. Okay. And I know it. And then I'm free. Big deal. How is it? So what? In every heart there is one Atma. Knowing that is not going to make me free. Purva Pakshi can say this. That's why it is Sada. Sada means always unchanging. Not that it's always existent, that is also there, but always in an unchanging fashion. Sarve Janana. All the people's truth, the truth of all the things, all the people that you see, is this one Atma. Ye viduhu amritaha bhavanti te, meaning then it puts it in a different light. And what is this light? It puts it in the light of there is only one Atma to know, which is in the heart of everyone. And then you say, oh, now this is really a curved ball, because that means the Atma in you is the same as Atma in me? Yes. But how can that be? I don't even like you. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's why the word viduhu comes. Yeah. And so this Atma, this Bhagavan, this Isha of the mind, Manvisha, the Isha of the heart, what does it look like? Well, thumb-sized. And one meaning we have already seen, it is for the ease of upasana. You can't have the Vishwarupa Darshana, the Lord in the form of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, enter your whole body, mind, sense complex. You'll be frightened, correct? So therefore, you take something small, comely, and say, this is, I make space for Bhagavan and I contemplate on a tiny thumb-sized Bhagavan. And I also told you that when you make a fist with your thumb inside, that's the size of the heart. So it's something that fits, in the right chest cavity. We don't even say left chest cavity because we don't want people to get panicked in the meditation. Because Bhagavan will be cutting off the blood flow, the air flow. He can stop the electrical action of the heart by just sitting there. Maybe he grows when you do Abhisheka. So all that, people get scared. So we say right chest cavity, imagine a thumb-sized Bhagavan. And so the word, actually that is one thing. The word matra, as in angushtha matra purushaha, has two meanings. One is size, the delimiting factor, matra, matram. And here another meaning is sadrisham, angushta sadrisham. Sadrisham means matram. So sadrisham means like the thumb. Not that it is the same size of the thumb, but it is like the thumb. Now this is very mystifying, isn't it? What do you mean it's like the thumb? Yeah? It is double jointed. And what do you mean it's like the thumb? Well, upon a close examination of one's hands, we see that this is the odd fellow out, correct? Now, these all are facing, urdhva mukham. This is side-faced mukham. This is coming out of the side like a sore thumb, literally, and standing out, right? See, these are all growing upward so nicely. They all are tapering and, they have some, something going for them. This one is just funny. It's growing like a, piece of ginger, somehow. Like a tumor. Somehow here it's coming on from the side. Funny fellow. So Bhagavan is like this, the odd person out. Yeah, in a sense. The idea is asanga. Just like the thumb belongs to the hand, is definitely part of the hand. In fact, without the thumb, the hand will not function. That's why in these Arabic countries, Saudi Arabia, they cut off the thumb. Because that fellow is not able to, some, thieving person, the thumb is cut off. Both the thumbs are cut off. And, they might have learnt this form of punishment from Dronacharya, who asked his student, the one who he never taught, At least if you teach, you can accept Guru Dakshina, with a clean conscience. But if you don't even teach and you demand Guru Dakshina, which is very interesting. So this tribal boy comes to learn archery. And Dronacharya says, I will not teach you, because he had made a promise that to Arjuna's mother, that Arjuna will be the best archer in the whole country. So the boy just touched his feet and went away to a nearby thicket, a forest, and made a clay bust of Dronacharya and prostrated in front of it every day and practiced his skills by himself, unimpeded. And in fact, he surpassed Arjuna. So he came, he was so happy that he was, doing such good archery. And so he came in all joy and showed Drona his skills. And Drona was very disturbed, because he could clearly see that Arjuna was, not at all up to his level. So what to do now? He has given that promise. So he said, oh, that's fine, wonderful boy, great. Oh, you made a bust of me, a statue there? Yeah, wonderful. And then, aren't you going to give Guru Dakshina? Whatever you want. He says, I want your thumbs. Yeah, and so Ekalavya had so much Shraddha in the Guru, and so much Shraddha that he himself cut off his thumbs and put it at his feet. He knew what it was all about, that he could never practice archery again. So without the thumb, forget archery, you can't even pick up anything. Pick up a pen, pick up a book. You're all the time groping, And so therefore, that which makes the hand a hand is the thumb. In fact, these 4 fingers take the credit, Yeah, this one points to everything. And this one is the ring finger. This one funny little fellow, but still, This is a pinky, It's got a special name. And all these things, And this is the middle one, Madhyama. Madhyamabhyan namaha. Anamika. Madhyama. Tarjani, Madhyama, Anamika. Like this, they all have names, and they all are shining, and they all are going about, playing the piano, playing the harpsichord, playing cello, doing all kinds of things, writing Vedanta books, everything they are doing, dancing, doing various mudras. But without the thumb, what they don't know is that by themselves they are useless. It's the thumb that powers them, empowers them. So too this indweller, which is likened to a thumb, Angushta Sadrisha, Angushta Matraha, Angushta Sadrisha, meaning it is likened to the thumb, is asanga, even though it is associated with a upadhi, like the thumb is associated with a upadhi called the hand. It is not affected by the upadhi. In fact, it is what powers this whole upadhi without being afflicted or affected by the upadhi. It is so free, this Purusha. And in other words, if this Purusha is me, who is this Purusha? Don't say somebody somewhere. This Purusha is you. And if this Purusha is me, then what? What does it mean? It means that I am Asanga. Asango hi ayam Purushaha. I am Asanga. And this Asangatvam is pointed out here. That's how it can remain in every heart without being, without participating in every heartbreak. This is the whole idea. Because if it's in every heart, and if you think of how many people are sad right now, and how many people are soon going to become sad in the next moment, that were not sad in this moment, the numbers are staggering amounts of people. And in these numbers, what do you see? What do you see is that this one Atma, likened to the thumb, Asanga, not participating in the heartbreak, abides as the truth of every heart. Beautiful. So the heart is broken because you didn't get what you want. Somebody didn't get what they wanted. That's why the heart is broken. They felt dejected, they felt rejected, they felt something or the other. And does this Atma sitting in the heart also share the feelings? No. It just shines the light on the feelings without participating in the feelings. It brings to light the sadness. And what is this light that brings to light? The self-shining light of Ananda. Ananda brings out the sadness. Ananda upholds the crying jiva. Ananda, thumb-like Purusha, upholds the sobbing jiva. The whole Purna Purusha upholds the broken-hearted, broken to pieces fellow. This is what we have to understand. And so therefore what? I am free of this. I am free of all the mental afflictions. I am free of all the physical afflictions. I am free of all the emotional afflictions. Any kind of sensory afflictions, they are not me. This is what the whole idea is, Mahavakya. And so therefore this has to be understood properly. Manasa abhikliptaha. Abhikliptaha, many meanings, endowed with, pervaded by, everything we have to take. And those are all not something that's going to happen after the knowledge comes. They are already happening. It's already there. Hrida manasa abhikliptaha ye viduhu amritaha te bhavanti. They are, amritaha, that doesn't mean immortal. It means they are free of death in the form of samsara. They are free of limitations. Even though they live in a limited body, a limited mind, limited senses, they are unaffected by that. Because they have become one in their knowledge with the thumb-like Purusha indwelling the heart. So when the thumb-like Purusha is not associated with the other four fingers, so similarly, the Vidwan, the knowledgeable person, is not associated with the four things, which is that body, mind, senses, ahankara. Same thing. There also four, here also four. That's why the Dakshinamurti teaches through the Chin Mudra. Because this thumb, which I did not know was myself, and this index finger, which points to all the things wrong with the Jagat. And, this comes and this is repatriated to its, you are not part of these three, you are not the body, mind, sense complex. Ahankara is bent. First it has to bend, you see. It cannot be straight and form Chin Mudra. That's not Chin Mudra. It has to bend and it has to become flexible and pliable, and then it joins the Tattvamasi and then you are whole. That's the whole thing. You are whole. That's the message. This is the message. This is Vedanta in sign language. Yeah. This is, SSL, Sanskrit sign language. This means vision, Tattvamasi. This is what it is. So the Ahankara has to first bend and give up itself in order to be united with that, Asanga Purusha, cognitively speaking. So this mantra becomes very important because it talks about the truth of I from the standpoint of the body, mind, sense complex. Even while remaining in a limited body, I am limitless, free enough to enjoy the afflictions that the body keeps mounting every day. Yeah. New ailments, new day. So that's wonderful. So, free enough to live in a dilapidated body, a never-mind mind, and senseless senses. This is Vedanta. Oh, that's kind of a letdown because I thought all problems will disappear. Your problems will not disappear. You, the complaining you who complained about the problems, will disappear. Yes. That's the best thing, really. Because that which is finite, you cannot make it infinite. And that which is infinite, namely you cannot make it finite. And when the two are in their places, then there is no problem. That's Viveka and, that's understanding. That's the knowledge. And so then, the Upanishad goes on with this whole, the word abhiklipta being taken as all pervasive and quotes some verses from the Purusha Sukta. We will see that now. Sahasrashirsha Purushaha
Sahasrashirsha Purushaha
Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat
Sahasrakshas Sahasrapat
Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva
Sabhumim Vishvato Vritva
Atyatishthad Dashangulam.
Atyatishthad Dashangulam.
So, who is this Purusha? First it was Angushta Matra, the small thumb-sized fellow, now has got many heads. How many? Sahasra. Sahasra means 1,000 heads. But there is 7 billion people in the universe. And then lots of other jivas, cat head, dog head, not God head, dog head, all these things. No. 1,000 is a number that stands in for countless. Sahasrashirsha Purushaha. A Purusha has 1,000 heads. Sahasrakshaha, 1,000 eyes, thousands of eyes. Sahasrapat has also as many 1,000 feet. Feet. Feet, and these feet are not, just 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet if you think of them in pairs. That means, it's just a little more than a centipede. That's not limitlessness. 10 times more than a centipede. So what? Big deal. This is Bhagavan, forget it. No. Thousands, meaning all feet are the feet of the Purusha. All eyes cannot function without the Purusha. All heads are the Purusha alone. Even blockhead? Yes. Even blockhead. Dull head? Yes. Even dull head. But then, this sentence can be problematic. What is the problem in this sentence? Think of how many heads are there. Just look at the human beings. Forget animals for now. 7 billion people? 7 billion heads? Correct? And also just imagine at any given time, like right now, 6:23 on a Tuesday evening, how many of those people are having a headache? Think about it. Let's have a conservative estimate. Only 1/7 of the population is having a headache. That's a billion headaches, correct? So if Bhagavan is the amalgam of all the heads and all the feet and all the eyes, any foot trouble head from head to toe, Bhagavan will be in search of Vaidya. Vaidya means doctor. Yeah. Why? Because such a big headache. It's the cumulative, collective headache. Then if you are equated to this Purusha, you say, I can barely stand my own head. I don't want the neighbor's headache. I don't like this at all. Yeah, somebody told me this. I was teaching this in India, 2 years ago, and they said, we are very confused because I just don't like the fact that when I gain this knowledge, this person said, when I gain this knowledge, I'll have everybody's problems. Because the Sarvatma Bhava comes. Sarvatma Bhava means I am everything and everybody. So if somebody is having, if there are 7 billion noses and then 2 billion are runny because it is flu season, and then Bhagavan will need, a whole Kleenex factory just dedicated to him. This is how people think. From where? From a place of not knowing. Yeah. From a place of not knowing when you think, this is what, on the surface, this is the meaning it yields. But obviously this meaning is not tenable for our purposes. And this is where the people make a mistake also. They say Bhagavan is, this is, all things put together is Bhagavan. Each and everything put together. Collective, everything is Bhagavan. And that is what they say, Hiranyagarbha is the collective conscience, collective this, collective that. This is a problem. Because then we are back to the wrong idea, back to square one, the wrong square. What is that? Bhagavan has become the Jagat. So here what are we looking for? Like even in a dream, every head that is there is nothing but that which is created by Bhagavan. Correct? Even the Mandu head is created. Mandu means stubborn. Even the Mandu's head is created by Bhagavan alone. So all the heads, if Bhagavan were to become all the heads, then there would be no head, no Bhagavan as the head. Correct? The head of the universe. But this is not our cosmology. This is not the vision of the Veda. What is the vision of the Veda, which is going to be soon unfolded right here as well, is that the creation is more of a manifestation. It is more as though Bhagavan is the head of the head, is ahead of every head, without taking on the problems. But how is that possible? Just like you in a dream. In the dream you have created many heads, correct? And if those heads are having problem, you are not having a problem. You have separated from them because you are naturally separate from that. You are that conscience that has projected these heads while being uniquely yourself, while transcending, here we can use the word, while transcending the individual problems of the individual upadhis. You have populated the upadhis, given the Namarupa the blessing of being entities in and of themselves. Your presence is equal to their existence in the dream. Think about it. Your presence, because you are present, they exist. They are known as existent. And then what? And then when the dream resolves, they resolve into you, but they don't leave their headaches and their aches and pains into you. Because it is as though. Vedanta is a PhD in as though. That's just 2 words. That's all it is. Vedanta is a PhD in as though. When you get a doctorate in as though, then you are a Vedantin. The whole thing is as though. It's a big inquiry into the biggest spoof that is, which is called the Jagat. Very interesting. That's why the previous verse, because these are all connected. That's why the previous verse says, Sarvesham Jananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha. In all the hearts, Buddha, in the Buddhi it is there. That's all it needs to say. No, but what about the Jagat? If you say Bhagavan is in my heart, in my head, in my Buddhi, then you have left out the whole Jagat. This is a dosha, objection. Is there a problem with this? No. No, but what about the cat, the dog, everything that I objectify? What about the plants, the roads, the 5 elements? Bhagavan is not in anywhere except in the people's buddhi. This is a problem because it's leaving out other things, correct? No, it's not a problem. Because take this one step further. Where is the Jagat recognized? And if that is Bhagavan, that means of course the whole Jagat is Bhagavan. That is what makes it a Mahavakya. Because it takes the place of just catching hold of the very place where the Jagat is recognized. That place where the Jagat is cognized is also the place where the Adhisthana of the Jagat is cognized. Beautiful. This is what it is. This is what the Purusha is. And so Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, the eye of 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 the so many things, everything that has eye is, Bhagavan says, I. And it's all I, one intended. Aham, aham, aham. I. Every foot is his foot. Every head is the head of Bhagavan. Sahasrakshaha, Sahasrapath. Everything is Bhagavan alone. And very beautiful. Now we can see the beauty in this. Is that it as though populates the Upadhi by bringing it to light, so to speak, lending or blessing the Upadhi with its presence, with its sentience. Oh, but it doesn't bless the rock with the sentience. No. In the rock, Brahman is sleeping. In the mountain, Brahman is standing. In you, Brahman is complaining. That's all it is. That's all it is. Various dynamic and not so dynamic manifestations of Brahman. Because the Sukshma Sharira is there. So therefore, it is so beautiful. This Purusha Sukta is very, very beautiful. So thousands of eyes, limitless feet and hands. So it has two meanings. One is that it has populated this entire universe with names and forms and entered those names and forms. That is what we are seeing. Tadeva anupravishat. Sarvam astrijat. Everything was created by this consciousness, Purusha. And then all aspects of creation, it entered as it were. It pervaded the whole creation. That's why it's not a creation, it's more of a manifestation. Abhivyakti, not srishti. That's why we can say Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam, all that is here is pervaded by Ishvara. So that is the first meaning, that it has pervaded the whole creation. That's why every foot is its foot, every eye is its eye. Second meaning is that not only has it pervaded the whole creation, but it also is the order upon which every head operates. It's manifest as the order through which the head remains a head. Even Ravana's head comes under this. So, what do we have in common with the head? A very, hard shell, correct? And soft, gooey brain, which has to be protected. That's why we have a hard skull. Yeah, you can even break a coconut on it. And, people do that. And as a competition in India. And they do all kinds of things. This is one of them. And then you can, hard shell, soft, gooey brains, squishy. And then what? And then we have this, this is the central place of all thought, all bodily functions, all mental functions. Very scary. It's all here, It's all here. All the central nervous system, everything, Everything is right here. And all that is also Bhagavan, how everything flows, how everything follows. From the thought, like you get a command, oh, this is not correct, leave this place, let's push out immediately. And then the legs run out of the door because they sense danger, correct? And it all happens in a split second decision. So every head has a halo because Bhagavan pervades that head in the form of all the anatomical orders, the psychological orders, everything. It's all Bhagavan alone. Same thing with the eye. Wherever there is eye, it will see. You see that? There is an order there. The eye of the cat always shifty. It will never look at you straight. It will always look at you like this. All carnivorous animals are like that. When they eat, they always look behind and then they eat. Because they know that they have, preyed upon something. They know that it has they know how hard it was to catch it, and they know that it also fought back. Correct? Yeah. So they're always on the lookout. Something will kill me. But you see the vegetarian animals grazing. They graze out in the open, unafraid. They're not shifty-eyed, looking here, looking there. But nonetheless, those eyes, these eyes, these eyes of the predator, the eyes of the preyed upon, everything is Bhagavan. How each one functions under certain circumstances, it's all Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan alone. Very nice. Eyes of a crocodile, lazy, pretending to be glazed, spaced out. It's not spaced out. It's just showing you it's spaced out, that's all. I was in Charleston, in South Carolina last year, and I saw this, what is that? Alligators right there. Like this. Even by mistake, if you go near it, finished. I had a close encounter, with it one time when I was taking a walk. Even the slightest thing, it will just, it turns around in a second. And they said, oh, please be careful, they are in the water, so stay away from bodies of water. But what they didn't tell us, or what they forgot to tell us, is that as easily and even quicker than in the water, they can move on the land. That's how they go from one body of water to another. Yeah, that's how I knew, because one crossed my path. It was more afraid of me than I was of it. So that's why I'm still here. And, so like this, the eye of the alligator, the eye of the owl, woo, woo, round, everything is round, face is round, beak is all round, eyes are all round. Head also goes round. Here you can have Shirsha and Aksha together in this example. Everything round. In Georgia there used to be that great horned owl. Oh, it's this big, huge, 2 feet. And it's really eerily human. Yeah. It looks at you with so much knowledge. It's amazing. And it looks like this, Are you small enough for me to eat? Or not? It's sizing you up. So like this, eyes of a weasel. It also has so many kinds of, so much magic. Eyes of a snake. There is one snake park in Chennai. And you go there and, children always are taken there by the school as a trip during feeding time. And so they just let some chickens there. Small chicks, all fluffy, small. Don't get attached to them because they are just snake food. And you don't even see the snake eating, even though you're right there. You suddenly see the chickens missing. How they eat when they eat, and then you see the chicken here, because the throat there is a big bulge, and then it moves, and then the bulge is here, like that. They all eat once a week, enough. You eat once a week, and then, if you're these particular kinds of snakes, and then you tie yourself around a tree and just digest that chick. This is what the whole thing is. And their eyes dart so fast that they are able to swallow the chicken up before even the chicken knows it. This is how the whole thing is. All these eyes, eyes of the goat, eyes of everything, all these eyes, the law that governs eyesight, that sight is associated with eyes, is Ishvara alone. And therefore what? So we have 2 forms or 2 manifestations of Ishvara. And this is something which we say in English. One is immanent, in the form of all eyes. And the other one is that which is transcendent. Immanent, transcendent. Immanent, that which is in the form, in all forms, the truth of all names and forms. Transcendent, that which Even though it is immanent, it is not affected by any name or form. Therefore, there is nothing that is wrong here. All the head problems, starting with simple headache, aspirin related headache, my grain, your grain, all the head problems starting with headache to stroke to concussion to, what is that called? Aneurysm. Everything is connected to what? Is part of the order. All eye problems, can't see, seeing double. Of course, that's a universal problem of duality. Seeing double. So, seeing multiples and all these things, that is also part of the order. It's such a clever order that it has built-in disorder into it. Very nice. So even the disorder is part of the order because that so-called disorder belongs to another infallible law. What is that law? The karmic law. Because why somebody should have eyes like these and somebody should have eyes like that? Why somebody should have 20-25 vision and somebody else, you can't even see the elephant in the room. And why? Because it's part of the karmic order. This is how the two orders here are overlaid. So beautiful. That's why whenever we say law, there comes a semblance of infallibility. Because otherwise it's not a law. So that is what it is. Bhagavan, this Purusha, is infallible, manifest as all the heads and all the hearts and all the eyes and all the feet, countless feet, and still away from it all. Majestically rules the orders without being affected by those very orders. That's what the next line says. Sabhumim Vishwataha Vritva, having pervaded this whole earth, having pervaded everything here on this earth. Earth here, Bhumi doesn't really mean Bhumi, this whole Jagat. Yeah. Atyatishtat Dashangulam. Dashangulam means 10 fingers. Again, this is since we are starting with a thumb, now we are talking about all the 10 fingers. Atyatishtat Dashangulam. Dashangulam, is a very interesting measure. It's like this. Not like that, like this. Yeah. So, like this, when you have 10 fingers, and even though this is 5, this is seen as 10. And so from the navel you measure, or even you keep it like this, 2 hands, and then it come to the heart, correct? Yeah. So we are back in the previous verse. So, Atyatishthati, Atityatishthati, has left all the quagmire of sorrows and samsara behind in the form of these heads which are butting against one another. And it has repaired to its home. What is the home? The heart is its home. The same Asanga heart, that's why the two, the previous verse is still continuing. The same thumb-sized Purusha here, thumb-sized or thumb-like, both meanings we have to take. And the same thumb-like Purusha presiding in the heart, presiding over the heart without being disheartened at any time, without being upset, without being fearful or tearful, while also without any trouble, effort, has manifested, everything and taken the form of those very things, also presides over the order. Atyatishtat Dashangulam. So from the navel, if you measure 10 fingers, the heart. Why navel? Because the navel is called Manipura, seat of the Ahankara. So the I, that's why the heart becomes very important, because you always say I. When you say, who did this? I. This is beyond language. In India, people will say this in China, people will say this in Greece, people will say everywhere, I. And so there is some kind of a resonance in this. And so therefore, the Upanishad also goes along with this identity and says, Atyatishtati dashangulam. And another meaning, dashangulam, is that, 10 fingers, meaning that not just the heart, but it's not that Bhagavan has become the universe. This is very important to understand. So the creation is more a projection, the projection of that limitless consciousness, its presence and its sentience is lent, and since the presence and the sentience are limitless, they are quote unquote lent very easily and effortlessly, lent to populate all the names and forms which are in themselves countless without undergoing any change whatsoever. So to show that Atyatishtati, otherwise, if the people read this without understanding, what they start saying? Atyatishtati means lives in heaven. Bhagavan made this universe and is sitting in heaven. That's not the idea. Atyatishtati means is there without being affected. Atityatishtati, the transcendental aspect and the immanent aspect on the first line, and the transcendental manifestation on the second line. In its Swarupa, it transcends everything. In its being imbued with the causality of making the Jagat, it is immanent. That is how we have to understand. Very beautiful. And so Dashangulam also two meanings. We saw that one is literally the 10 fingers, and the other one is though the Purusha has manifested, this whole Jagat is unaffected by it. Even though everything in the world, in the Jagat, in the universe is not separate from Ishvara, Jagat is Ishvara, Ishvara is not the Jagat. This is what we have to understand. Purusha evedagam sarvam.
Purusha evedagam sarvam.
Yat bhutam yat cha bhavyam.
Yat bhutam yat cha bhavyam.
Utamritatvasyešanah.
Utamritatvasyešanah.
Yadannena tirohati.
Yadannena tirohati.
Yeah, so then it sums it up here. Purusha eva idagam sarvam. All this that is here, all that is here is the Purusha alone. There is nothing other than Purusha. Yat bhutam. What was there before? All the names and forms that were there before, what is that? Purusha. And all the names and forms that are here now, what are they? Purusha. Yat cha bhavyam, that which is going to come, of course Purusha. But what about what is here now? That is also Purusha. So this pervasion, we have to understand. This pervading is very beautiful. Pervading without any loss. Swarupa aparityagena tishtati. Without giving up its nature, it simply is. But at the same time, everything that has presence has the nature of Bhagavan. Satchidananda. Everything is Satchidananda. Bhagavan is Satchidananda. But everything is Satchidananda. Satchidananda is not any one thing. That is what we have to understand. This is what is called Indian rope trick. Magic. There used to be a rope trick in the previous times and ancient times. Adi Shankara describes this rope trick. And so the magician would make a lot of brouhaha and gather a big crowd. And he would say that my assistant is going to climb up this rope. Which rope? Just see this rope. And there would be a rope which just went away to the heavens. There was nothing, no return, It was just one-way rope, which had somehow, through some optical illusion, been made to look very stiff and urdhva mukha, going upward. And then the assistant, would say a lot of prayers because not coming back, and and would ascend the rope. Then the rope would be taken away. And then you would have an Akashavani, literally a voice from the heavens, saying that the assistant saying, "Oh, I'm having such a good time here. You can take away the rope. I don't even want to come back." And of course, nobody knows. Even Adi Shankara did not know how this trick was performed. But this is what is called Indian rope trick. So you send a man up the rope, and then you take away the rope, and then the man talks somehow. There must be some trick. In those days they didn't have MP3 recorders and all, so I don't know how they did it. They must have thrown their voice or something like that, or mesmerized, hypnotized. There's something called mass hypnotism. You hypnotize everyone into believing they are seeing something which is not there. But here, there is no hypnosis. In fact, it is dehypnotization. One has been brainwashed by samsara and to think of each and everything as a separate entity. And one is being now, what is that? Reprogrammed to see the truth, to see reality as it is. Yeah, de-brain. There is a word for it. People who go to these cults and join. What is that called? There is a technical term for it. Yeah, so after they go and they just start thinking like the cult, then there are some special fellows that you can hire, and they will take, deprogrammed or something. No, there is one word. Yeah, I'm not thinking of it. So they take them away to some little, house somewhere in the woods or something like that, and they deprogram them and, reprogram them to their real life, other than all the brainwashing the cult had done. So sometimes they get into these, teenagers, they get into these satanic cults and everything, and then they have to be brought back and deprogrammed. So like this, one is already into the cult of samsara. One is following samsara, one has enshrined samsara, and samsara has become one's guru. Yes. One is doing namaskara to samsara every day. Oh, ye samsara, don't be too hard on me today. This is what it is. All the priorities are, as the Bhagavad Gita describes in the 15th chapter, urdhva, mulaha, adhashakha, upside down. Everything is upside down. And so, with great difficulty, the vision of the Shruti has righted this. And now what is the truth? Purusha eva idam sarvam. All that is here is the Purusha alone. There is nothing other than the Purusha, and that Purusha happens to be you. So where is samsara? Gone. Yat bhutam, that which was there before is also you. That which is here now is also you. That which is yet to come, any new forms, new species they discover, also you. This is what the whole thing is. Very beautiful. And so really, this Purusha Sukta is deprogrammer of samsara. And these two verses are really the main verses. If you study these two verses, the gist of the whole thing is already known. It's like studying the whole Purusha Sukta. So that is the thing. And then after these two verses, the Upanishad will quote some verses which have been taken by the Bhagavad Gita from here, lifted verbatim. Sarvatah panipadam yat sarvatokshi shiromukham sarvatah shrutiman loke sarvam avritya tishtati. All this, very beautiful. We'll see that as it goes along. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.